Good evening and welcome to the council meeting, and today's date is December 19th. If you would please stand, Councilman Lucio is going to lead us in the flag salute.
Put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Mark, and you may be seated. We have some very special presentations this evening. Our 2023 Chino Youth Parade Decorated Entry Competition winners. Our first Best Use of Theme goes to American Heritage Girls Troop California 3130. I'd like to call up Troop Coordinator Stacy Yoshida and your group who's here with you this evening. Stacy? Nobody else is here with you? Really? She's all by herself? Well, I'd like to present with you with this beautiful certificate, and thank you very much for participating in the parade. Now she's going to get a picture of you. Good job. Thank you. Our next is Best Overall Walker. It goes to Chino American Little League. I'd like to call up Chino American Little League President Ermenda Kempis and your group who's here with you this evening. Do you have anybody here? Come on. Good. Okay, you're welcome. I know. Would you like to say a few words about your float?
Thank you. So our float, most of you know we got the overall walker first place, and I'd like to thank Ben for entertaining everybody. It was a pleasure, I'm sure. And thank you to all the kids that came out and the families that allowed them to support us. I couldn't do this without all of them.
Now, I know Ben's... I know. I don't know if you recognize what they did, but Ben was dressed in this outfit that had a horse attached to him, and he walked with the horse walking around. So, Ben, would you like, with a lasso, would you like to say a few words, Ben? You're okay? You're welcome. I've known Ben since he was a itty-bitty guy. Okay. It was really a very, very cute float. Good job, Ben. And next, we have Best Overall Vehicle or Float. It goes to Cub Scout Pack 205. I'd like to call up Cub Master Megan Busser. And your group, please. Say a few words.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, City Council members. If you guys didn't see our float, it was the Wild West Town, and it was a big trailer. I think it's 32 feet long, 33 feet long, and all the scouts were in their cowboy hats. And I just want to say thank you to all of our parents and all of our leaders, and to Mr. Bob for driving, and then Mr. Jason Ginsburg, who built and leaded the float build. So thank you.
It takes a lot of effort of a lot of people to make this happen. Thank you all for participating. Prior to convening, we did have a closed session. I'd like to ask our attorney to give us a report out of that meeting.
Good evening. Thank you all. The City Council met in closed session as announced by the mayor and held a discussion as to item number 1, conference with legal counsel, existing litigation, Following an update to the City Council of the status of that matter, City Council provided unanimous direction. No further reportable action was taken. The City Council has commenced its discussions on items number 2 and 3, Public Employee Performance Evaluation, Title City Manager, and Conference with Labor Negotiators, Title City Manager, and has not concluded those discussions, and will do so after the open session. So it would be appropriate to withhold the report until after that is reconvened. Thank you, Mayor. That
Thank you,
concludes the
Fred.
report.
City Manager, do we have any agenda additions or revisions?
No changes, Mayor.
Thank you. Next on our agenda is public announcements. The 2023 Holiday Home Decorating Contest is in full swing. Public voting is now open, and there's just one day left to cast your vote for your favorite holiday home. View the map of all the dazzling entries and vote on your favorite by visiting www.cityofchino.org/holiday-home. The winner, chosen by your votes, will be announced on December 21st via social media and the city website. Join us in spreading the holiday cheer by supporting our neighbors and celebrating their creative efforts. Next, mark your calendars for an exciting new winter event, Chili Chino. This frosty festivity is scheduled for January 27th and will be hosted at Ayala Park Operations Center from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Gather your family and friends for a memorable snow day filled with fun activities like sledding and snowman building, in addition to crafts and tasty treats from a variety of food vendors. Secure your spot now by registering at www.cityofchino.org/chilichino. Don't miss out on this winter wonderland adventure. And finally, I'd like to inform you about the upcoming holiday schedule. Please note that City Hall and most city facilities will observe a holiday closure or have limited hours starting this Friday, December 22nd, with normal operations resuming on Tuesday, January 2nd. Furthermore, the first council meeting of the new year, originally scheduled for January 2nd, has been canceled. The next regular council meeting will take place on January 16th, 2024. Now, next on the agenda is the time and the place for the general public to address the council on items that do not appear elsewhere on the agenda. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to address the council on an item that's not on the agenda? Okay, seeing none, my first...
It's Mr. Cecil Hall.
Yes, sir, if you'd like to come forward. Oh, well, okay, well, let me do the written request to speak first. Sorry. My written request to speak is Rabbi Mindy Harlick. He's going to lead us in an invocation this evening. So for all you who would like to join us, please stand.
Thank you, Mayor, council members, and all the law enforcement and citizens of Chino. So there was once a rabbi and a New York taxi driver who came up to heaven, and when it got to the rabbi, they said, "Rabbi, sorry, but you're going to hell." And when he came, and he was thinking, I've been a rabbi for many years. It could be I didn't do some things right all the time, and okay, things happen. Next came up the New York cab driver, and they said, "You, straight to heaven." Now the rabbi couldn't believe anymore. Maybe he himself done some things wrong, but a cab driver straight to heaven, how is that possible? So he turned to the heavenly court and said, "Yeah, you need some explanation over here. How is it possible, Rabbi, me to hell, and the cab driver straight to heaven?" So the court answered, and they said, "Well, Rabbi, when the New York cab driver is driving, everyone starts praying. And when you start giving your sermons, everyone falls asleep." So with that, I'm going to use the words of King David, very influential person, to give a blessing to the great city of Chino on all of its growth. As you can tell when you drive through towards east, you see all the great developments that are happening, and I'm sure all the cities around see the great work that's done over here. So I'm going to read a prayer from King David. For the conductor, a psalm of David. May God answer you on the day of distress. May the name of the God of Jacob fortify you. May he send your aid from the sanctuary and support you from Zion. May he remember all your offerings and always accept your sacrifices favorably. May he grant you your heart's desire and fulfill your every counsel. We will rejoice in your deliverance and raise our banners in the name of our God. May God fulfill all your wishes. Now I know that God has delivered his anointed one, answering him from his holy heavens with the mighty saving power of his right hand. Some rely upon chariots and some upon horses, but we rely upon and invoke the name of God, our God. They kneel and fall, but we rise and stand firm. God deliver us. May the King answer us on the day we call. Thank you.
Thank you, Mindy. Okay, that was the only written request that I have. Now, sir, would you like to come up?
This is what happens when you don't carry a cell phone.
So you carry a laptop? Okay. Would you like to give us your name?
Sure. Just want to make sure that the attachments that I sent earlier today were received. They weren't. Well, that's fine. No, not a problem. Greetings, City Council members. My name is Cecil Howell. First of all, I would like to greet Chief Comstock. The 4-year-old young lady that I asked you about her seat, she's sitting over there. She's 12 now. When we met in 2015 in the parking lot.
Yes, sir. Big lots.
Yeah, Big Lots, right, with you and Wes. I still very much appreciate the work that you've done with the city of Chino and the high standard that you set that was carried on by Chief Wes and now by Chief Menson. And then also wanted to greet Mr. Flores. I appreciate your encouragement and support of my kids in their business last year for Citrus City. So council members, I'm here today and I'm speaking up on behalf of the boys and the young men of our community. In November, Chief Menson spoke to you about the increase in youth arrests and crime taking place in our community, our high schools and our junior high campuses, assault, weapons, criminal threats, the buying and selling of narcotics. My son was robbed earlier this year by a group of 6 boys on campus. He also came home last year or earlier this year and reported that 3 people have OD'd on campus. Another one of his classmates was stabbed to death when he was at Chino High over at the Wendy's where he used to study on a regular basis. This 21% uptick in campus crime was foreseeable and preventable. Likewise, the ensuing escalation that is coming to our high schools and junior high schools, and soon our elementary schools, in both violence and drug use, is equally as foreseeable and preventable. I had sent some attachments via email earlier today, but I guess they didn't reach you guys. I sent the attachments of some emails that I've been sending since 2018. I had sent emails to the Rotary Club, the Lions Club, Chino PD, Chino Chamber of Commerce, the Boys Republic, and CVUSD. And they were all requesting events just focusing on the young men and the boys as they're going into junior high and high school. And I was extolling them to take time to address these boys and these young men in our community directly. No one had the time, and no one has the money or resources to even put on a single event since 2018. And so now I'm here pleading with the city. Ironically, we have been running events to empower our girls for the past 16 years. I spent a lot of my preteen years growing up in Northern California, and this was during the 80s. And this is when the Bloods and the Crips started to migrate northward to establish their sets in Northern California, particularly Sacramento. And I remember how it started, innocently enough, with an uptick in school fights, cocaine and crack on campus, and a spike in sales across high school and junior high campuses. So this all rings and seems very familiar to me. So we as a community have been ignoring our young men, and somehow we're shocked that they're vying for our attention in the worst possible way. And the more that we ignore their collective need for attention, structure, respect, and mission, the more they're going to roam the community and then create the structure, define the mission, demand the respect and the attention that they're lacking. It's very simple. None of this is new. And seeing this kind of developing is why I started my parenting and coaching business in 2019. And so from a recent article in the OC Register entitled, "With 13,000 gang members in Orange County, the push to curb crime and recruitment," Frank Gonzalez, a mental health therapist, spent 14 years working with minors in Orange County Juvenile Hall. He said that many of the kids recruited by gangs were first-generation Latinos with immigrant parents who often worked long hours. Sound familiar? Cheryl Mexon, a professor of criminology at law at UC Irvine, said that gangs emerged from communities affected by poverty, overextended parents, and inadequate supervision. Council members, 1 ounce of prevention is worth 1 pound of cure. And so here is the 1 ounce of prevention. An annual event for incoming 7th grade boys and their parents, preparing them for the challenges and changes and responsibility of junior high school. Another annual event for incoming 9th grade boys and their parents, preparing them for the challenges, changes, and responsibility of high school, as well as entering manhood. And then finally, the implementation of a program that brings fathers to campus in a support role on a regular rotation. I call this program the Good Father Program. All of this for less than the annual cost of one SRO. And to paraphrase Chief Menson, having fathers at high schools and junior high schools would provide a level of safety and mentorship to students that no SRO can match. Are we going to wait for the gangs to fully form? Are we going to wait for the drug-related deaths on campus to increase? Are we going to wait for campus violence to skyrocket? Are we going to just wait for the crime to happen and then arrest our sons? We know the problem. We know the solution. Let me know if I can be of assistance.
Well, thank you very, very much for your presentation. As you may already know, that program that you're referring to for the young ladies is actually a program called Stepping Up, and it's put on by Seroptimist. So it's not a city program, it's a nonprofit. Linda, you want to talk a little bit about the Seroptimist program?
Yeah, the Seroptimist is exactly what you're talking about. And
Yeah,
I
I'm
think
very familiar
you
with
had a
it.
conversation
Yes.
with the former chief. So Noon Rotary did do a similar Stepping Up program for boys, and it was just before COVID, and they haven't brought it back. So I'm
Yes.
not sure if you've reached, I didn't hear you mention,
So I was involved with that program, and so based upon that, I got in touch with the organizers, which was the Lions Club. So everyone I mentioned, I've emailed everybody, and nobody has funds or time. This is what I'm saying.
have you met with the Noon Rotary and Dal
I've-
Bright, who put that program on?
I've emailed them.
Okay,
I've emailed them.
maybe we can help you to get in touch with them.
That would be nice.
Okay.
All right.
Mr. Howell, in fairness to the Bright family, Mr. Bright's wife is very sick right now.
Okay.
So that's probably the reason you haven't heard from Dale or Sandra Sue Bright. They were both passionate about
Yeah.
the 6th grade boys program. In fact, it was normally held at the community building.
Right.
But I think everybody in this audience is going to agree with you, and I'm sure the chief will reach out to you, that it's invaluable. I've emceed the Girls Stepping Up program for several years, not the past couple of years, but also the big leap from 8th grade to 9th grade.
Right.
And as a teenager, that's where I had some real challenges, moving from Ramona Junior High to Don Lugo. And we do have some programs over the summer with the youth camp that our SROs do conduct. And I'm sure that the police department would be happy to partner with you and explain those and accept any help that you would be willing to give us. We can't give those kids enough help and enough love and support to make them successful at every level, from elementary school to high school. Because in the end, I can tell you, this entire council and this police department Our number one goal is for every child to graduate. We want them to graduate successfully and go on to become successful members of our community. And I know that you're committed to that as well, so thank you.
Well, honestly, the real problem is lack of father at home, and we can't solve that. So I'm just trying to speak, because I'm talking to these kids as a coach.
Yes.
And so what I'm trying to deal with is really just a layer that society can deal with. We can't go into their homes and tell the fathers to be dads, but we can try and involve them more at the community and school level. So that's just what I'm trying to address.
Even if you're fortunate enough to have great parents, which I was,
Yeah.
and at one point, it does take a community to help children when they're away from their parents to foster them and nurture them. And I like to tell people that there's a lot of people, including our own mayor, who played a vital role into the young person I am today.
Right.
So we can't, we can't wrap our arms around our children enough and keep them out of harm's way. We're not going to keep everybody out of harm's way, but any help that we can get is certainly appreciated. And I know where your heart is in that, so thank you.
So, Mr. Howell, and to reiterate on what you're saying, it's something I've been talking to different people. Like I've had lengthy discussions with one of our assistant city managers. This is an ongoing thing with our young boys. It's just a lot of them have been raised by single mothers. And if you see there's a big transformation that's occurring, that's why when I had my daughters, I would always have them in all-girls schools, because I said the workforce that I competed in is not going to be the same workforce that they're competing in. Why? Because there's books written, are we raising our boys to be men? And the problem is we're really not at this point.
Yeah.
And for every 4 people that graduate from college, 3 of them are girls. The men are just not stepping into those leadership roles. And how do we fix that? I don't know. But it's definitely something that we need to work on as a society, because it's important. It's important that our boys are out there being responsible, and that's the first thing, is the fathers need to be responsible, and the father figure in the family is just so important that when they don't have it, it just lowers everything. They're more prone to commit crimes. They're more prone to get in trouble in schools. There's more. So how do we fix it? Well, I guess then we do have to get involved as a community. So I understand what you're talking about. I mean, just in the transformation that happened in LA County when I came on as an employee with LA County, out of the 5 supervisors, 4 of them were men, 1 was a female. And the CEO was a male. Now, if you look at it, they're all females, including the CEO. So the transformation, I think, is taking longer to take place here in San Bernardino, only because a lot of the families that were in LA County fled to San Bernardino to get a home that was more affordable, and we had the family unit here longer. So therefore, we're not seeing what's happening in LA County yet, but if we don't start changing our ways, we'll see it here in San Bernardino County as well.
Well, so if we address it at this stage, I think that we don't have to see that, because I remember being that age. And at some point, you're 15, 16, and you're bigger than your mom. And this is just how young men think. It's like, okay, well, you can tell me what to do, but you can't make me do it. Mm-hmm. But because I had a dad, and my dad could make me do it, guess what? I respected mom because I was afraid of my dad. Like, this is how the human mind works. And so we can't legislate what happens in the home, but I think that if these young men have more male presence on campus in the form of, just dads in the community, good morning, good afternoon, how you doing? Kids aren't going to get in fights with their parents at school. Boys ain't going to do it. They wouldn't dare. And that's a chain reaction, because men and young men, we communicate with each other non-verbally. And they'll understand what to do and what not to do when they see the presence. They'll understand what it means without having to threaten anybody. All the dad has to say is, good morning, son, you okay? And that boy knows. I better act right. I mean, so at this point, at this stage, it's not really complicated what needs to be done. I think that suggestion that I'm making, this can kind of put the fire out before it turns into a blaze, and so that's why I'm here.
Mr. Howell, have you gone to the school district and mentioned these things to them?
Yes, I have. Yes, I have.
I think the conversation probably should wind down because it's not on the agenda. So if the council wants to have a further discussion, you may want to schedule it for an upcoming meeting.
Just one more comment that I have, though, and that is we support our SROs in the school district. And we're even now considering to put them at even lower grade levels, like junior high, because we believe that their presence helps kids. And most of the SROs are men, which I think is a very good thing. And I think they're a wonderful role model. So thank you so much for coming this
No problem.
evening.
One final thing is that the mail that I sent to Chief West to his, in his defense, was a week before he left his post. But it was just kind of a last-ditch effort for me to try and get somebody to do something. So the reason why he didn't respond was probably because he was busy retiring.
Probably.
All right.
Probably so. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
for
I got to
that.
take my son to a wrestling thing, speaking of being a
Oh.
dad. All right,
Councilman Lucio's son's in wrestling as well. You two need to get together. Thank you very much.
Real quick, Mayor, if you don't mind, I'd like to get Mr. Howell's information somehow. If somebody from staff can collect that.
Mayor and council,
because
I
I'd
have a
like to-
meeting scheduled with him for tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
So
Thank
we'll
you.
be able to talk further.
Thank you, Mr. Howell, very much for bringing the information.
Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to address the council on an item that is not on the agenda? Yes, sir. Come on up.
Hi,
Hi.
my name is Brian Walters. Thank you very much for letting me talk today. I have a concern about unhoused that are living in the wash above the 60 freeway behind my house.
In Cypress Channel?
It's actually between Monte Vista and Ramona, but it's all the way down. And I'm a morning walker with my shepherd. I see a lot of city people driving around in the morning when I'm out there in police. So that's great. But what I'm noticing is, I notice that there is as you're going over the Monte Vista Bridge, the overpass, from Philadelphia going south on the east side of the street, that new part of the freeway, the fencing is all pushed down, and that's how they're able to get access to tag all along that new wall that's there that you can see from the freeway. And then at the end of Yorba Avenue, south of Philadelphia again, on the north side, where the city has, the city I believe has fixed the fencing, because there can't be a permanent thing there because it's a dead end and it's to the wash, to the flood channel. And so basically what they're doing is, as soon as the city fixes it, it gets opened up again. And there are people going in and out of there, mostly to the left. So between Yorba and Monte Vista, with big wagons full of food, and who knows what else. I mean, I haven't ventured down there. I just look down there at the end. I see that it's cut. It gets fixed. A week later, or maybe even a day later, hours later, it gets cut again. And so I know that I've been out there early in the morning before the change of time happened, and I was out there in my reflective gear, and I'm walking down, and I could see like lights going down the flood channel, people walking in the flood channel, and I know that that's a safety issue. And my wife and I have been residents of Chino for a very long time. We're both educators. We are close to retirement age, and we, plan to be here while our 5 grandchildren are growing up. And I just want it to be a safe place for everyone. And I just don't want to see something happen, because there's been instances where I've called the non-emergency number, unless it's an emergency, and said, here's what I've noticed, here's what I've seen, this needs to be fixed. And I do the email or the text message, and it's very great now that I've realized in the last week or two that I get a response back in a text form. That's awesome, thank you very much. But I still see this stuff happening, and I know that it takes time, but I just want to make sure that we're all looking or how can I help? I'm going to be retiring on January 8th as an educator after 38 years, 24 in education actually, 38 years working after college, and I have the time to devote for this cause.
Well, we certainly don't want you to get involved and get hurt.
Oh, I don't want to get hurt either. That's
But I
not
will
my
ask-
agenda.
I will ask our staff to follow up with our
Okay.
PD.
Okay.
And we'll probably have to get county involved and code enforcement and see what we can, and Caltrans.
Okay.
To see what we can do.
Okay.
Okay, Mr.
Wonderful.
Walter, if you would leave your information with our city clerk?
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else in the audience would like to address the council on an item that's not on the agenda? Okay, to see none, we're going to move on to the consent calendar. Do any members wish to have an item pulled or for discussion? Seeing none, then I would entertain a motion and a second, please. Natalie is there it is. Okay, we have a motion from Councilman Burton, second from Councilman Lucio. Please vote. And the item passes unanimously. Next on the agenda, under new business, Chino Rancho Park Development Project. Excuse me. This item is to approve the award of contract to establish a grant number G4069 and additional appropriation for the Chino Rancho Park Development Project PK200. Staff report this evening will be provided by our Parks and Capital Projects Manager, Jeff Benson, and our Director of Community Services, Parks and Recreation, Sylvia Avalos.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and members of the City Council. The action before you this evening is an award of contract, purchase order, and appropriation for the construction of the Chino Rancho Park Project. The Community Services, Parks and Recreation Department applied for a competitive grant through the State of California's Department of Parks and Recreation Office of Grants and Local Services. In April of 2020, the city was awarded $2,858,075 for the development of a park on the southeast corner of Central Avenue and Phillips Boulevard, now named Chino Rancho Park. This new 1.18 acre park will consist of an entry monument, parking lot, restroom building, Chino's first all-inclusive playground, a shade pavilion, 2 pickleball courts, outdoor fitness equipment, a walking trail with benches, and drought-tolerant landscaping. The scope of the project also includes street and infrastructure improvements within the public right-of-way along Central Avenue and Phillips Boulevard. These improvements consist of undergrounding of communication utility lines, adding parkway landscaping, curb and gutter, a sidewalk, and repaving a section of Phillips Boulevard along the northern boundary of the park. The sidewalk improvements will include new accessible curb ramps on the corner of Central Avenue and Phillips Boulevard. To date, the city has expended funds for the demolition of the existing water basin that was on site, concrete pipes, grading, utility connections, and has gone towards the purchase of equipment, including a pre-manufactured restroom. Staff worked with the city's design consultant, RHA Landscape Architects and Planners, to prepare construction plans and specifications for the project. And a notice inviting bids was published on Planet Bids on October 25th of this year. 9 bids were accepted electronically. After careful review, the lowest responsible bid was submitted by Act 1 Construction in the amount of $3,254,984. In addition to the contract amount, staff is requesting authorization to spend up to $488,274 for project contingencies for unexpected work, bringing the total potential construction contract to $3,743,231. On November 9th of this year, staff met with the City Council Infrastructure Streets Committee to discuss additional funding options for this project due to increased project costs. The committee supports this project, the additional funding sources from the Park Fund 340, and the pursuit of additional funding opportunities. Subsequent to this meeting, $1 million in funding became available through the County of San Bernardino's American Rescue Plan Act. These additional funding sources, paired with the previously secured Prop 68 grant funds, will cover the total project cost of roughly $5.4 million. Staff recommends for council to award a construction contract in the amount of $3,254,984 to Act One Construction for the Chino Rancho Park Development Project. Authorize expenditures of up to $488,247 for project construction contingencies for a not to exceed potential construction amount of $3,743,231. Appropriate $1,630,700 for the unappropriated reserves of the Park Fund. Establish grant project number G4069 in the Park Fund 340 and additional appropriation and revenue in the amount of $1 million from the San Bernardino County, City of Chino American Rescue Plan Act and the Coronavirus Local Fiscal Recovery Fund. Approve the contract between San Bernardino County and the City of Chino related to the American Rescue Plan Act and the Coronavirus Local Fiscal Recovery Fund. And finally, authorize the city manager to execute all documents on behalf of the city. This approval will incorporate an update to the agreement with Act One Construction to incorporate government-funded grant provision language listed in Article 14 and in Exhibits A through C. An updated copy of the agreement was provided and will be updated in the agenda. This concludes my report. I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
For the sake for the public, because that's a lot of numbers and a lot of information, what is the bottom line cost to build this 1.1 acre park?
Including design and demolition is
Everything.
$5.4 million.
5.4. And what did we originally estimate it to cost us?
You want-
The original grant cost was 2.8 million.
2.8. So I know in our personal lives, we're struggling with cost increases, but it's hitting us as a city as well. I don't think I ever dreamt that it would cost $5 million to develop 1 acre of a park. It's shocking. Thank you very much for your report. Any questions or comments? Kurt?
I have a question and a comment. Question, how do we come up with the names to our parks, Sylvia?
The names of the parks, we actually, either we have the community or staff recommend names for our parks. It goes to our commission, to our Community Services Parks and Recreation Commission as a recommendation, and then the commission provides a recommendation to the council.
I'd like to recommend that in the future that we really get the community involved of where the park is going to be located, to give them an opportunity to have input on what their park is going to be named.
Okay.
So if we don't already push that, I'd really like to do that. The other thing too is I would also like to thank our San Bernardino County Supervisor Kurt Hagman for helping us to secure $1 million toward the park and our expenses. And thank you.
Any other comments? And when do we expect this park to be open?
So construction should conclude early summer, so probably late June.
Okay, thank you very much. Karen?
This could be our first pickleball court. Mary, you ready to play some pickleball up there?
I don't even know what pickleball is.
Soon you'll know, Mayor.
Oh, my God. You play tennis.
It's wildly popular.
We'll see. Okay, if there's no comments, are there any comments from the audience this evening? Okay, seeing none, then I would ask for a motion and a second to approve item number 10. Motion from Councilman Flores, second from Councilman Burton. Please vote. And the item passes unanimously. Cannot believe the cost of things now. Next item on the agenda is item number 11, Citywide Public Works Project On-Call Consultant List. This item is to approve the 2023 through 2028 pre-qualified on-call consultant list for use of professional services for citywide public works projects. Staff report this evening will be provided by our management analyst, Musette Ayala, and our Director of Public Works, Hyjin Lee.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and members of the City Council. The city has previously established a pre-qualified on-call consultant list to perform a variety of professional services related to projects in the Public Works Capital Improvement Program. In efforts to include additional professional and technical services citywide for various departments, a new pre-qualified list was established. Having a pre-qualified on-call consultant list provides city staff with a more efficient and effective means for contracting professional services in support of the city's various projects. The list would allow city staff to seek proposals for projects and enable the consultants to become familiar with the city's standards and performance expectations, increasing consistency and reliability of work product. On September 5th, 2023, the city formally released a request for proposal for on-call consultants for public works projects. As shown on the slide, a total of 17 different professional and technical services were requested on the request for proposal. In response, the city received 89 proposals. A staff review team of 30 citywide technical experts from various departments conducted a thorough review and evaluation of the submitted proposals. Each firm that submitted a proposal underwent an independent rating process on a pass-or-fail basis based on experience, qualifications, methodology and approach, past performance and references, and quality of responsiveness of the proposal. The number of consultants recommended for placement on the list varies by the number of qualified firms submitting proposals, specialty category, and anticipated projects in the upcoming 5 years. Considering the large number of responses and required amount of staff time and effort to assist with the evaluations and recommendations, it is requested that the list selection process be updated 5 years as opposed to the previous 3-year period. Of the 89 firms that submitted proposals, 72 were selected. While there are 72 consultant firms listed, the city is not obligated to utilize every consultant on the list. Inclusion on the list does not guarantee that all of the consultants will be awarded any projects, as the award of services is based on the city's needs. The list will serve as a crucial tool which allows staff to further request informal quotes and project-specific proposals from the pre-qualified list for each project based on the relevant category while maintaining the spirit of competitive request for proposal process. Therefore, staff recommends the approval of the new pre-qualified on-call consultant list for the duration of 5 years from 2023 through 2028 for citywide public works projects. That concludes my report, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you very much. Any questions of staff on this item or comments? Karen?
No, ma'am.
Oh, no? Any comments, questions? Okay. Then I would request a motion and a second, please. Motion from Councilman Lucio, second from Councilman Burton. Please vote. Mark? There it is. Item passes unanimously. Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is Mayor and Council reports. Try to make mine brief. On December 6th, I attended the Omnitrans and San Bernardino County Transportation Authority Board of Directors meetings. On the 7th, I attended the Police Department retiree luncheon. It was really nice to see a lot of the retires. Hadn't seen many of them for many years. So that was a nice get-together. And then that evening, Supervisor Hagman had his Christmas party. On the 8th, I attended the Police Department Christmas party at Cal Aero. That's always a lot of fun. This year's theme was Western, and they actually got the chief to ride the bull. But he stepped off a little early. I think it might have gotten a little bit too hard for him. Not sure, but it's always a lot of fun. On the 9th, we had our Youth Christmas Parade, which was really well attended this year. I was really pleased to see how many of the public came out, and there were a lot of really cute entries. On the 13th, I attended the Mayor's Roundtable in Ontario, and the subject there was homelessness. Fontana is becoming very, very aggressive with their approach to homelessness, getting a lot of grant money, and they're going to build quite a large facility. On the 14th, I attended Omnitrans Administration Committee and the San Bernardino County Transportation Authority Metro Valley session. On the 15th, I attended the Neighborhood House Christmas Party for a few minutes. They passed down, I don't know how many bicycles to kids, but there were a lot of bicycles. Many of the police department was there, as well as fire department. It was really well attended as well. On the 16th, I attended the City Hall on the Move that was located at the Stater Brothers to provide information to our community, education on programs coming up, and a proposed ballot measure that we have. That's all I have this evening. I'd like to wish everyone a very, very safe and happy Merry, Merry, Merry Christmas. Very safe New Year's, please. Don't drink and drive. Stay off the streets. Be with your loved ones this year. Party with them instead of some wild party somewhere. Stay home and love your family, because you don't know how long you'll have them, right? Okay, Mayor Pro Tem Comstock.
Thank you, Mayor. Also on December 7th, I attended the Chino Police Department retiree luncheon as a retiree. And I have to tell you, it feels sometimes still strange to sit on that side of the table, but I want to thank Chief Minson and his staff for hosting such a nice day. It was a very well-attended event. We had a lot of retirees in the house as well as guests from the council, and it was a great barbecue. I know, Alex Wright is in the back there who helped make some of that food for us, so we certainly appreciate it. It was a nice day. I couldn't make the police association part this year because I had a sick dog, Mayor. I now have a dog that's a diabetic, and she just gotten out of the hospital after a 3-day stay that night. Kevin, I'm sorry, because I would have liked to have seen you ride that bull. Yeah, so anyway.
They even made him wear a cowboy hat.
My goodness. So, okay, and then on the 9th, I attended the holiday parade here in Chino, which is one of my favorite events. It's just a nice turnout by the community, by all of our staff. Thank you to all of our staff who make that such a wonderful event every year. I say it every time, but it just keeps getting a little bit better and better, and a very nice day with weather for it as well. On the 12th of December, I attended the memorial ceremony for retired council member Glenn Duncan. Glenn and Cindy Duncan are also happened to be, before he passed, but Cindy Duncan, his wife, is still a neighbor of mine. Glenn was just a phenomenal public servant. A lot of you may have actually even had him prepare your taxes at one point in the city of Chino. He really did dedicate his life to serving Chino, as well as the neighborhood house was one of his passions. So we just miss Glenn. He's a good man who fell ill, and his legacy is going to be left here in the city of Chino for many years. And Glenn's just a great guy. I could go on, but I won't. And then lastly, I attended yesterday, Mayor, on the 18th with the Chino Valley Chamber of Commerce, also an educational component about our Measure V that's coming up in March with the Chino Valley Chamber along with our staff and Councilmember Burton as well, and and our staff. So we had a good meeting there that day. That being said, Mayor, I'd like to also wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. If you're going to drink and drive, please be responsible and spend time with your family, like you said. We don't, and this is a great time of year. I don't care how you celebrate, but as Christians and as believers, it's a very also holy and spiritual time of year for us. So for our staff this year, it's going to be the first time that we are going to be closing City Hall, and you will be able to go home and celebrate with your families, which is the most important gift that we can give people this time of year. So for those of you that have to work, thank you for your service to our community and for standing watch. But for those of you that are going to get to go home and celebrate with your families, may God bless you and keep you safe during this time period. Thank you.
And I'm glad you mentioned Glenn Duncan's retirement memorial service. Unfortunately, my husband had an accident that morning and was quite tied up with urgent care and things with Bob. But thank you very much for standing in for me. I know it was a last-minute type thing, but I hear you did a wonderful job. And I also understand that the speakers that were there really honored Glenn very, very nicely.
They sure did, Mayor. I will never, ever be a replacement for your voice or your compassion to this community, and certainly how long you served with Glenn on this council. You were missed that night, but we know that you had a family event, family issue to attend to. Pastor Moore and our staff and retired Councilmember Tom Howie all did a great job celebrating Tom. Kurt, also you did a great job emceeing it, so thank you very much.
Yeah. And Glenn will be missed. I mean, he was very, very active in our community. Councilman Burton.
Thank you, Mayor. On the 6th, I attended a meeting with a resident who had several questions in regards to the measure that is being brought forth. After that, I attended the Chino Valley Chamber Luncheon. On the 7th, I also attended the Chino Police Department Retiree Luncheon as a retiree. It was awesome to see the amount of people that showed up. It seems like now every year it's growing, the word's getting out there. It's just really nice to see some of the old faces. And the thing is, Mayor Pro Tem, we're some of those old faces now, and it just is. It's really nice to see how the city has really come around and how the city's progressed and how we've come so far since our early days here on the police department. It's really neat, very refreshing. Also on the 7th, the Cal Cities election holiday reception I attended with our Assistant City Manager, Jackie Melendez. On the 9th, I also attended the Chino Youth Christmas Parade. I hold that near and dear to my heart. My wife and I actually met at that parade 33 years ago. My wife actually worked for the City of Chino in community services, and I worked as a police officer. She was directing the parade route. I was directing traffic when I saw the most incredibly beautiful woman I've ever seen in my life, and she stole my heart.
And she didn't even want to talk to you.
She didn't even want to talk to me. I don't blame her. But 33 years ago, it was really, really special. So we continue to attend that. On the 11th, the Planning Commission interviews I attended with the mayor, one-on-one with the city manager. On the 12th, I had the great honor of being the master of ceremonies for our retired council member, Glenn Duncan, at his memorial. A lot of great individuals got up and said some awesome things about Mr. Duncan, and rightfully so. The 13th, I continued the Planning Commission interviews with the mayor. The 15th, the Neighborhood House Christmas event at the community building. I attended that with the mayor as well. We handed out a couple of 100 bikes at that event, as well as other gifts for the youth of our community. On the 18th, I attended the Chino Valley Chamber of Commerce meeting with the Mayor Pro Tem and our staff to talk about the measure, and then I had my one-on-one weekly meeting with the city manager. Today, the 19th, I attended closed session before we came out here. But, you know, I wanted to mention how neat I think it is that our families come out to the lawn here at City Hall. It's all lit up, and, you know, every night we see families together taking photographs and the kids running around and in and out of the lights. It's just really neat the way we've brought that around. And Linda, thank you very much to you and the staff for making that happen. What a great family time that is to see, and it's something that we really need, especially this time of the year. I would like to thank our individuals that came up, Mr. Walters. You know, it takes a lot to come up into city council meetings, and Mr. Howell as well. People just don't bring their concerns to us normally in this arena, but I really appreciate the time that you've given to us We don't know a lot of times what's going on unless people provide us with the information. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. And then finally, Mayor, I also want to say Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, Happy Holiday Season to all of our business owners and residents. It's a great time of the year. Let's remember what it's all about, and that's Jesus Christ. And I thank you, and that's all I have, Mayor.
Okay. Councilman Flores.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. On the 6th of December, I attended the Chino Valley Chamber 2023 Holiday Luncheon. They did a great job. On the 7th of December, I attended Supervisor Kurt Hagman's Christmas open house. On the 8th of December, I as well attended the POA Holiday Hoedown. And Karen, I may or may not have a video of the chief, Ranabu, but that may come at a cost.
I have one.
I'm kidding, Chief.
I'm ready for it, Chris. Name the price.
Look at Kevin.
On the 12th of December, I attended the CIW Citizens Advisory Committee. On the 15th of December, I unfortunately missed, well, I would say fortunately, unfortunately missed the neighborhood house Christmas event. And the reason why I missed is because my younger brother just graduated from the police academy. That was his graduation day, so we were just excited to support him as a family. A lot of family members came out that I hadn't seen in quite a while, so I was happy, for that to happen. And ironically, with the stroke of a blessing, it's 6:59 right now. My brother's shift starts tonight at 7 p.m., so he's clocking in as I'm speaking. On the 16th of December, I attended City Hall on the Move over at Slater Brothers off of Pine Avenue as well. And yesterday, I attended the Chino Valley Chamber of Commerce board meeting. And again, thank you to our staff for coming out and giving a presentation. I will say after our staff left, there were a lot of compliments from the chamber in terms of Jim Gallagher specifically said that they think that our staff is doing an amazing job at, meeting with everybody they can, whether that be, specific community members or groups and, all the stakeholders involved. So, shout out to our staff. Mr. Walters, again, thank you for coming out. I could say, we absolutely took note. Our quality of life is on it already, if they're not. And I will say, I want to give a huge shout out to Officer Jate. There's an individual that you guys may or may not heard of, a transient. His name is Joseph. He's about 24 years old. He just came. He stepped forward a couple days ago asking to be put back into a facility. He wants to change. And, our officers, our quality of life team was there that same day. And so he's out and, being rehabilitated as we speak. And that being said, Mayor, I wrote a poem to the community, so with your permission, I would like to say it. If not, for the sake of time, maybe I can say it in a Facebook post.
No, we need to hear it.
Okay. I wrote this poem, and this is my way of saying Happy New Year and Merry Christmas to all. And by the way, I had a little help. There was a co-author with this poem. His name was ChatGPT. Okay.
I was just going to say, Chris, it is a ChatGPT.
All right. So the poem's name is Dear Chino. Dear Chino community, in unity we stand, in the heart of our city, a promise so grand. As your council member, with gratitude I say, thank you for supporting us in every way. Through the streets of Chino, where friendships align, your support for our safety, a beacon that shines. Public service is essential, woven in our city's story. Your backing, our strength, our shared glory. In the hush of the night and the buzz of the day, you stand with us, come what may. For public safety, a heartfelt cheer, your commitment echoes crystal clear. Essential services, threads in the civic weave, a tapestry of care for each to receive. Chino, our home where communities thrive, your support, the heartbeat in our lives. In the council chambers and on every street, your backing makes our city complete. With gratitude profound in this heartfelt rhyme, thank you, Chino, for standing by our side time after time.
Aww. Okay, Mark, how are you going to top that?
I'm not. Mine's going to be pretty short. The first part of the month, I went on vacation with my family. We went to Texas to go see my daughter graduate. She just graduated with her BSN in nursing. She also got engaged, so that was a big thing for our family. So we were all at least able to go down there and celebrate that with her. So It was a great accomplishment of her finishing school, but on top of that, it was nice to see her also move forward in her life on a personal level. And she will be flying in tonight, so I'm looking forward to seeing her and her fiance later on after the meeting. But with that being said, that's why I missed the parade, and I missed a lot of the events that you guys all attended. And really, I look forward to those events throughout the year, and it was sad to not be able to attend them, but at the same time, family, as I always said, family always comes first.
Yep.
But on the 12th, I attended the CIM-CIW Citizens Advisory Committee. On the same day, I attended the Chaffey College Community Center Oversight Committee meeting. And then later on that evening, I also attended the Glenn Duncan Memorial, which was also a really nice memorial. It was good to see a lot of people that used to work at the city come back and speak. They all had really nice things to say about Councilman Duncan. On the 13th, I attended the Make a Child Smile event. Fire department always does a great job, so my hat's off to you guys. That was a great event. On the 16th, I attended City Hall on the Move at Stater Brothers on Pine. It was also great to see that a lot of the shoppers were from Eastvale. So for the first time, we're starting to get Eastvale people coming to shop in Chino as opposed to Chino residents going into Eastvale. And on the 19th, today I attended a meeting with the city manager, and then later on I attended a meeting with the mayor. And that's all I have. I just want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, enjoy your family. Family's important, so however busy you are, take the time to slow down a little bit and just recap on your past blessings that you've had throughout this year. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. City Manager Reich.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. I just would like to thank the Community Services Parks and Rec Department for the months and months of planning for the parade. It went off without a hitch, as it always does. Lots of people. It was fun this year. Myself, Community Services, Parks and Rec Director, Public Works, and Development Services, we walked the parade from the front. We tried to get in front of the parade, but we weren't really successful. We took a shortcut. But it was fun to see the number of people that were out watching the parade. And then, you know, our police department and our public works for keeping us safe and closing those roads. It's a lot of work. It starts really early in the morning, and it always goes off without a hitch. So I'd like to thank everyone for your work on that. And we really did have a good time that day, the parade, the fair, all of it. And that's it. And we will see you next year. So.
God, that sounds like a long time away. City Attorney Galante.
No report, just Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. I'm thankful for this position, working for such a great city, and hope you enjoy the holidays. Thank you.
Where else do you get a poem read, right?
You know, it's hard to top that.
Chief Menson.
Thank you, Mayor. Just real quick, I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a safe, Happy New Year. We are going to have extra officers out working on New Year's Eve, including our traffic unit that is going to be doing DUI enforcement. So we urge everybody, if you're going to be drinking, to have a plan, whether that's with a designated driver or a ride share. So that concludes my report, unless you have any questions.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor.
Deputy Chief Skibar.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, City Council staff, and community members. As you are aware, the successful medical transportation contract awarded to Confire by San Bernardino County Board of Directors is currently in the implementation stage. The qualified team of both public and private stakeholders work towards the October 1st go-live deadline. As new information becomes available, those updates will be posted on confire.org. The Fire District continues to extend our gratitude for your support. Fire Station 68 update. The fire station project is being presented to the City of Chino Hills Planning Commission this evening for a general plan amendment, with the expectation that the Chino Hills City Council will vote for the final approval in January. A special thank you to City Council, Chino PD, and staff for another successful year with the Make a Child Smile event, where we had 100 children that were blessed to have a little more for Christmas this year. We also enjoyed being part of the festivities such as the Chino Youth Parade and serving our seniors with senior delivery luncheon. And finally, the deadline for community members to submit nominations for the annual Fred Al Burns Award is December 31st. For those who did not know Fred Burns, he served as a United States Army Staff Sergeant, where he was a paratrooper in World War II. He also served as a leader of 22 men in a group known as the Pathfinder Group, who fought in major battles, including the invasion in Normandy on D-Day, and which he was one of the 6 to survive in his group. He also fought in the Battle of the Bulge and received 2 Purple Hearts, 2 Bronze Stars, 4 Battle Stars for his heroism. As a local resident and former fire board member, the district has honored Sergeant Burns with the Fred L. Burns Award. And this is presented to community members who have made a significant impact in the area of community service, supporting public safety, and supporting the fire district's mission of providing exceptional service and safeguarding the community. More information can be found on cvifd.org, our website, under quick links. And we again want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and look forward to a great New Year. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Carlos. Linda, I too want to thank you and staff for everything that you guys put together on the front lawn. Especially, it's really nice to drive by and see people out there every night taking pictures and, you know, families. It's a great place to visit. I can't wait to see what you come up with next year. This is a challenge. Make it bigger and better every year.
Challenge accepted, Mayor.
Okay. Merry Christmas, everyone. Have a safe New Year, and we will see you next year.
Actually, before we recess.
I know, I'm going to say that, but I have to say that because they won't be here when we come back. So have a safe New Year. We don't want to have anybody hurt. We want to see you all back safely. And when we come back, we will be adjourning to January 16th. But right now, we have to go back into closed session and finish some business. So Merry Christmas, everyone.